Jesus said, "Man cannot live on bread alone, but from every word that proceeds from the mouth of God." You're listening to Daily Truth.
The short version of what I was going to say is this. I think it's permissible for civil magistrates, again, a general equity here. It is permissible to say that some things need to be redeemed, but other things need to be destroyed. And it is good and right for us to say there are some things, not necessarily places, that's unique to Israel, like Jericho, but some things, and I would argue ideology, way of thinking, that we need to destroy, and there need to be laws and pacts and allegiances and agreements that this thing that we destroyed is never coming back. And if anybody tries to re-raise this thing that was destroyed, I'm talking about like communism, zero tolerance. Zero tolerance. I don't care if it's in academia. I don't care if it's in this university or that field or this field. No, there's something so deadly that they're not redeemed. They just need to be destroyed, and they need to be destroyed with certain oaths, like Joshua made, an oath being made with a people, with a nation, a body politic that says this thing, there will be harsh penalties if anyone tries to rebuild this thing. That G.K. Chesterton quote that I use is this. You guys probably heard it. There is a thought that stops all thought. That is the only thought that ought to be stopped. That is the ultimate evil against which all religious authority was aimed. So yeah, free speech is a thing. Free speech absolutist? No, that's not a thing. Because here's the irony. That's where you ultimately lose freedom. If there are no boundaries, if there are no provisions, no protections, no law, that's not freedom. It's not. So yes, freedom of thought, freedom of speech, in many, many regards. But there is such a thing as a thought that stops all thought. And that thought needs to be stopped. It needs to be crushed. And there need to be certain penalties saying, if anybody rebuilds this thought, tries to dust this demonic ideology off and put it back into play, there's going to be consequences, strict consequences. That's what Joshua was commanded to do with Jericho. And I believe that that's something, applying that principle, that we are even commanded to do, not just as Christians or individuals, but even as nations, even civil magistrates, we are called to do even now with certain godless ideologies. So yes, I want to see communism crushed. And I'll add one more, just for fun. Atheism will be stamped out. It will. And it won't be stamped out by the sword, but there is something to be said by certain laws saying you are not allowed in a public institution on state taxes, taxpayer funded, to teach that kids came from fish and monkeys. And if you want to call that Christian nationalism, well then, apparently I'm a Christian nationalist. But yeah, you're not allowed to have state-funded schools that teach things that are categorically untrue. Perhaps even teach it as this is what people used to believe, right? Like it could be like a field trip where all the kids, and it'd be a fun day. We go to an old museum and we all laugh, we make fun of Darwin together, and that's a wonderful time for children, We can all laugh at the stupidity of people who rebelled against God. But you don't teach lies as though they're true. Especially some lies, guys, are more destructive than others. And a lie that says it's just survival of the fittest, a lie that says that there is no God and that you came from apes and all that, if we think that belief, when believed, has no implications or effects for culture and morality and standards and society, then we're just, again, then the West is just suicidal.